Hello and welcome to Shelby This Week. We're covering news from around Shelby Township and all over Macomb County. Is the water safe to drink? We've got information on testing being done in Utica community schools. And from primary elections to rallies being held right here in Shelby Township, we've got more on the race to the White House. And getting your voices heard, how local government wants your input on changes coming to a major township entity. But first, police are sending out a warning to Shelby Township residents to accompany your pets outside. A family's dog was attacked and killed by 2 coyotes in someone's backyard on Odeland Road near Mound and 24 Mile.
Our police department received a call around midnight from an owner of a dog. The dog was in the backyard and was attacked by 2 coyotes. Our officers responded to the residents and they looked into the matter, and the coyotes had actually carried the dog off. If
you live near a wooded area or your yard isn't fenced in, it's important to be on the lookout for wild animals. While police don't relocate wildlife, they do advise you to call 911 if there's immediate danger.
Just be more mindful of your pets. This is an isolated situation. It doesn't happen all the time, but where coyotes and pets live in the same area, they do feed on pets, so you just have to be more mindful of your dog out in the backyard and make sure that you're checking on them, and just be aware that they are out there, and do what you need to do to make sure that they're safe.
And a couple of tips: eliminate outside food and garbage around your home. And coyotes don't like bright lights, so if you have a light on your house, turn it on while pets are out. A man accused of stabbing and killing his roommate was back in court. 26-year-old Gerald Boozer Brown is facing charges in the stabbing death of Brian Shepard inside their Macomb Township apartment. The probable cause hearing was canceled and a request for a decreased bond was denied. The preliminary exam was rescheduled for later this month. If convicted, Boozer Brown is facing life in prison. Shelby Township officials are still looking into Ewell Elementary as a possible location for the new community center, and they've been hosting town hall meetings to hear public input. Charlie Cadado joins us with what residents are saying.
Well, it's no secret as the township grows, the community center keeps getting older and smaller, and officials are trying to find solutions. The possibility of purchasing Ewell Elementary is still just an idea, and there are many unanswered questions. Lately, if you walk the halls of the Shelby Township Senior Center, you're likely to hear talk about the future of their building, that is.
I'm concerned. I don't know enough information.
Wanting input from the community, township officials hosted 2 town hall meetings to hear questions and concerns about buying the vacant Ewell Elementary and moving the community center there.
Ewell Elementary School, I think, is a great opportunity for us to use a vacant building instead of building something new.
Donna Murphy has been a resident of Shelby Township for 51 years. For the last 15, she's heard talk about building a new community center, but she's not convinced now is the right time. She wants more community input.
I would like discussion, just discussion from the groups.
Others are optimistic about the future.
They want some dedication to the seniors. They want to see a community that's focused on doing something specifically for them.
As of now, the plan would keep 41A District Court in its same location and move the library, senior center, and Shelby TV to the old elementary school near 23 and Shelby. Officials recently toured the building and looked at space and renovation costs.
I was very surprised at how well the building was kept up. I only live a mile from there, and I was very surprised to see that it had been maintained so well over the years that it's been closed.
Supervisor Rick Stathakis says he's heard from a lot of residents. Many have offered great ideas, but he says some are not practical. Jerry Moots wants to see more activities in a new place. He points to the success of the Older Persons Commission in Rochester.
Those people have tours, they have lectures, they have a walking track, they have a pool, they even have a wood shop.
So far, the township has ruled out a pool, but they say it's still early. Some residents feel they should study all options, including alternative locations.
I was hoping that there'd be some information here as what would be possible.
Township officials say based on demand, they will soon host an open meeting where residents can offer their ideas.
Nobody likes change, and seniors are no exception, and myself included. So anything that's different is always worrisome.
Well, we did reach out to Utica Community Schools, and they said they are aware of the township interests, but again, it's very early in this process.
Absolutely, and residents can still call the supervisor's office with their input as
Yep,
well.
in fact, they want people to call the supervisor's office. They're trying to get more information in order to hear what residents have to say.
And that input will be used in assessing the needs for the community center?
That's what the township says, yep.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Amid the Flint water crisis, Howell schools were tested proactively. When results came back, the district found one of the elementary schools tested positive for lead. We then reached out to officials in Utica Community Schools to see what the water levels looked like in our district. UCS had the water tested at 45 different schools and facilities from January 9th through the 16th using the firm Arch Environmental Group in Farmington. While the report was not made available to us, district officials and officials at the company confirmed there was no detectable lead found in any of the water samples. All were under the state's acceptable action level. You may recognize their names from another case, but now two of the Dobish brothers are facing separate charges in connection to another incident. Andrik and Derek Dobish are a part of the family charged with selling synthetic marijuana out of a Shelby Township gas station. Now the two are facing assault charges in another incident. We will keep you updated on when they'll be back in court. You may have noticed a portion of 24 Mile closed down. That's due to a water main break at the intersection of Applewood and Lakewood Court inside the Towering Oaks subdivision just west of Shaner. But to get to the pipes, crews have been hard at work digging up 24 Mile Road. No boil water alerts have been issued for the area, and we will continue to keep you updated on our Facebook page. Just search Shelby TV. We're in the thick of election season, and right now the conversation everyone seems to be focusing on is, who do you want as the next president of the United States? Nick Buckler joins us now to discuss what goes into the primaries and what goes into residents and their voting decisions.
Well, Kelly, I talked to a few residents and asked them what their top concerns are in our country and which candidate they feel will kind of attack those concerns.
Election season is here, which means it's time for confrontational posts on social media and local politicians endorsing their favorite candidates publicly. Many Republican senators are endorsing businessman Donald Trump.
What he's talking about right now is exactly the subjects that people talk to me about when I go door to door during campaign years to visit people and ask for their votes. It's also the same material that people talk about when they email me and call on the phone just to inquire about this and that.
Some residents are concerned with some of his policies, as well as general issues in our country today.
Healthcare.
Okay, why?
Because I'm in that field. And I pay for my own health insurance, and it's expensive. It's a big deal.
Whereas other residents feel left-wing politicians are giving things away for free.
A lot of people are under the impression that, everything comes for free, and there have been just too many things that are so out of sync in our country anymore. Economically, people don't understand the real value of anything anymore.
And they feel Marco Rubio is their candidate to get things back on track.
We need a free market, but we need the government to set in appropriate checks and balances in terms of reforming trade and business laws. And we need a conservative to do that. We can't just go for some failed system like socialism. Socialism usually works in countries where the people are very homogenous in terms of what they believe in and who they are. That is not the United States.
Another problem is securing our borders, an issue most residents can agree on.
We want to make sure our borders are secure. We don't want to make sure there's any people coming in our country trying to, throw things upside down. At the same time, a lot of people, I think, have a real concern about border security, what's going on. I think a lot of people underestimate what's going on and how they're securing our borders with the current federal administration.
So Nick, when it comes to the residents and the voting, did you notice any trends and concerns?
Actually, I did. A lot of people were really concerned about the healthcare system that's in place right now in our country, and also the protection of the Second Amendment. And with that is not only personal security, but the big picture, national security.
All right, thanks. And we'll be following the elections all year, right?
Yeah, we'll be following that, the candidates and the residents' decisions and which way they're voting all election season.
Great. Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
As more states get ready for the primary season, the road to the White House stopped right here in town. Presidential candidate Marco Rubio held a rally at the Palazzo Grande to drum up support, and our own Charlie Cadotto was there.
When presidential candidates come to town, it's safe to say the finest ingredients come out.
It's very special.
While staff at the Palazzo are busy behind the scenes, the crowd outside is eager to see Florida Senator Marco Rubio up close.
Mark, I thought so.
With an election season this unpredictable, every selfie and every smile counts. And Macomb County means a lot.
Macomb County and Shelby Township in particular are a bellwether for the state of Michigan, so we're lucky that we get them here.
And it's not just lights, camera, action.
You guys are rowdy, man. It's not even 5 o'clock.
Behind the scenes, careful planning goes into Rubio's talking points. He's had a strong showing among young Republican voters and Reagan Democrats, a key voting bloc in Macomb.
He speaks to student debt and to millennials, being a young person himself, but also he had a lot of student debt after graduating college.
Shelby Township Treasurer Mike Flint is a Rubio supporter.
Senator Rubio and I are Reagan generation. I'm 45, he's 45, so Reagan Democrats and the Reagan generation is here in Shelby.
And while every day is a new day in this election, Rubio is hoping to take the lead from Trump. That means careful attacks.
If we choose Donald Trump as our nominee, we will put in charge of the conservative movement someone who is not really a conservative.
For Macomb County and the country, it's only getting started. Around 35 weeks to go until the election. For Shelby This Week, I'm Charlie Cadotto.
Thanks, Charlie. Still ahead on Shelby This Week, legislation changes. Why getting caught with a beer in your hand when you're underage may see different consequences. And the motivator, how a local team manager is getting his inspirational story told. Find out more next.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
You may have noticed the construction going on at the Meijer in Shelby Township. Meijer is planning to spend millions to remodel stores right here in Michigan. It will spend $80 million to renovate 12 stores. Some enhancements include wider aisles, redesigning floor plans, and creating bigger sections like the produce and the beauty section. The store is also calling for better technology to make the buildings more energy efficient. The construction is expected to take up to 6 months. Minors caught drinking could soon face a lighter penalty. The state Senate passed a bill making the first minor in possession a civil infraction instead of a misdemeanor. The second offense would then be a misdemeanor, and the third would suspend their driver's license. The bill is on its way to the House to be voted on. And it doesn't have to be warm out to go hiking, so if you're looking to get out of the house, grab your boots and your gear. Shelby TV's Arthur Schenk will tell you what you need to go backpacking right here in Shelby Township.
Recently at the Shadbush Nature Center, an event was held that brought together people from many different walks of life, but all with similar interests in hiking or backpacking. Backpacking 101, hosted by Kenneth Kazaban, introduced guests to some of the ins and outs of the world of hiking. Kazaban, a retired Shelby Township police officer, is a veteran backpacker and hiker who has explored many local and out-of-state areas known for their beauty and challenging terrain.
Well, it's one of those things. I like the outdoors. I was talking to a friend of mine I was working with at the time, and he said he liked the outdoors. We both thought about wanting to go to Iowa Royal someday, and we're both married at the time, and neither of our wives are backpackers, and we said, you know what, today's the day. Let's start planning it and move forward. So we started acquiring equipment, a couple of birthdays and Christmases here and there, get some of the small equipment that we might need, and a year later we went on a trip to Iowa Royal, and that was the start of it.
Whether it's a short day hike around a local park or a full week trip in Manitou Island, being prepared can make the difference between a successful trip or a nature nightmare.
Just got to check the weather before you go and know what time of year you're going, whether it's a wet season, cold season. We usually go before Memorial Day or after Labor Day, and we know it could be that time of year. whether it be in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, wherever it might be, even out west, the Dakotas. At that time of year, you could have snow or you can have 85 degrees up in the ridges.
Of course, with all the improvements in hiking gear and technologies, also weatherproofing, it's made it easier for novices to get started. But there is one key thing to keep in mind if you're just starting out on your hiking career.
You know, I think the number one problem people have when they backpack, they don't drink enough water and they get dehydrated. I would say before you even go on the trail, drink 32 ounces of water before you even step foot on the trail each day, just to get it in you, because before you know it, you're a mile down and you're getting thirsty again because you're already working that off, you're sweating it off, and just make sure you drink enough and take your time, enjoy, you know, look at nature, you're out in nature. A lot of people have no idea, they don't go beyond where the tourists go and they don't really get in nature. So, and if you're going to go to the touristy places like Porcupine Mountains, you know, most people go where the tourists go, Lake of the Clouds, the Overlook, and that's a nice place to go, take some pictures. Then go down the trails about 45 minutes off the beaten path, and you'll see so much more that most people never see. And you feel like you're in God's country.
If you're interested in more information on hiking or area for your own excursions, there are many backpacking and outdoor magazines available in print, and of course, a huge amount of information online. The main thing to remember if you're interested in hiking is, of course, to go hiking. Through trial and error, you'll find out what works and doesn't work for you. From the Shadbush Nature Center here in Shelby Township, I'm Arthur Schink reporting for Shelby This Week.
Thanks, Art. A major company is opening up a brand new location here in Shelby Township. Allstate Insurance cut the ribbon to a new space on Van Dyke, just north of 21 Mile Road. Allstate is the second largest personal lines insurer in the country, issuing motor vehicle insurance, boats, homes, condos, and personal property. They call him the Motivator. Since 1999, Jeff Lorkey has been the student manager for the Eisenhower High School varsity football team. And he's made quite the impact on his teammates, coaches, and the community. So much so that the company 97 Films created a documentary about Jeff, rightfully named Impact. The release party for the film will be on March 20th at Brown Iron Brew House at 5 p.m. Tickets are $25, and some of the proceeds will go to the Eisenhower football program. Coming up on Shelby This Week, put down the cookies and step away from the Cheetos. We have information on what will cure your urge from the munchies. And it's National Reading Month. Find out which newly famous unicorn is spending the holiday with local students.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
There are some new faces in the Shelby Township Fire Department. Stacy Sansatero went to meet the new firefighters and find out how they're training for their new positions in the community.
He's back, stand up. He's back, stand up.
There is important training taking place at the fire department with the recent hire of 6 firefighters.
This is the first time we've had a staff increase since 2005, and once they get through their training and become manpower, they will be used to help staff Station 4 and provide additional manpower east of M53, where the highest majority of our runs are occurring every year.
And because they never know what will happen on a run, it's important to be properly trained and conditioned.
So they build in good habits from the beginning, so they have a long career injury-free. This is my 10th year. I started at 36. I've never spent a day or hour on ODI, which is on-duty injury, and I attribute that to some of the workouts that I do.
And these are not everyday workouts. Today, the new hires were being taught how to use their hips in order to deadlift properly. Tips that go far toward the well-being of a firefighter medic.
It's a lot of information, so it's definitely challenging. After the first week, I was kind of overwhelmed. Now we're in the second week, so it's getting better. You know, you learn a lot every single day, so you just got to go home and kind of practice on what you're not the strongest in, and then go from there.
And for one new hire, this job has been a lifelong dream.
I'm excited to be here. I'm very lucky to be here. I grew up here. So 20-some years of my childhood and life I've been here. I went to school, Flickinger, Epler, Utica. I did my paramedic internship with Shelby Fire about 5 or 6 years ago. So since then, I've been working very hard to hopefully get a spot here, and it happened.
The new hires bring the department to a total of 64 full-time firefighters. For Shelby This Week, I'm Stacy Sansatera.
Thank you, Stacy, and congratulations on their swearing in. It's hard to resist those cravings for potato chips or a bar of chocolate, but a new study says sleep will help you curb the temptation. According to the CDC, 1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep, and roughly the same percentage are obese. Researchers at the University of Chicago are connecting the two to find that a lack of sleep may lead to an increased appetite and a craving for unhealthy foods. The study compared adults with 8 hours of sleep to those with 4. Those that were sleep deprived tended to eat more snacks with carbs and fat. Researchers say sleep affects chemical levels in the brain that are involved in regulating appetite. So if you want to control the munchies, try hitting the snooze button. Members of Utica Community Schools' robotics team are state champions, and now they're heading off to the world stage. The Thunder Chickens Vex robotics team is made of high school students from Eisenhower and Utica High School. This is video from their state competition and testing their robot out. Teams of students are tasked with designing and building a robot to play against others in games of speed, agility, and accuracy. Now they'll move on to compete against 450 of the top robotics teams from more than 26 different countries. And we'll have more on their road to the World Championships in the coming weeks. One of our state representatives braved the elements of Michigan weather for a good cause. Pete Lucido took part in the legislative polar plunge to help raise money for the Special Olympics. More than a dozen lawmakers participated this year, with temperatures just barely getting to 28 degrees. This year, the polar plunge raised $30,000 for the program, which offers sport and activity for those with intellectual disabilities. March is National Reading Month, and the newly formed United Shore Professional Baseball League is teaming up with Utica Community Schools to celebrate. The Utica Unicorns mascot, Lancelot, went to Flickinger Elementary School to read to students in an effort to promote literacy, something the league is proud to be a part of.
We wanted to emphasize the importance of reading. We know that it's National Reading Month, and we want to be good community partners and work with the schools and help them and help the kids, understand how important, reading is and what a basic fundamental it is, and it's great to start early.
But most of the third graders we talked to didn't need a lesson on the importance of reading. Many of them love to read on a daily basis.
Reading is important because it helps you learn, and it helps you learn new words for vocab, and helps your mind just take a rest when you need to.
But of course, having Lancelot come to their school was an exciting opportunity and something they'll never forget. Because even though he can't talk, he certainly made them all laugh. All of the schools in our community will be celebrating National Reading Month with a variety of events. And don't forget, the new baseball stadium is expected to open in May. And that's it for us here at Shelby This Week. You can watch us all the time at shelbytv.org. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. Just search Shelby TV. Thanks for watching.